Hey, Novel Lineal, doing some test plays today. Saber running your map pair, Gamesofluck. I think it looks like you're just kind of looking for some general feedback. You did ask some specific questions about adding walls and towers. So, I mean, if I remember, I'll try to comment on that while I'm playing. But if I forget, I'll go back and write something in the description about that. Running the map through the map checker, there was pretty significant issues, which I'll either, again, talk about if I notice it while playing or write comments in the description. But otherwise, I'll just kind of jump in. Okay, so starting off, you can do this, but it's not starting with one hand down, one hand up. As a general rule of thumb, players are going to start with both hands up, so it's good to start with both hands down. I mean, you can start with both ups, but it's generally considered bad form to start one down, one up, because then I'll just do what I did there and not be able to play it properly. And you're not always going to get people who are willing to reset to try again. That might have been a vision block there.
You sold it slower to find your man, and folded over on your hand, 'cause you waited long enough, hesitated over love, now you're taking over us.
Okay, one thing I'll comment on, this is kind of hard to spot while playing, but I think I'm picking up on it. So you've got a number of times where you finish your hand down, for example, in the left-hand lane, and it's a straight down, and then your next note is a diagonal. So you can do that, especially if it's like a more techie kind of map or you've got an arc kind of connecting them. But in a situation like this, what's going to happen is you're going to get people who are just going to play that one as an up anyway. So it just, one, kind of doesn't really feel good. And two, you run the risk of the player bad cutting if they don't kind of get through the angle quite nicely. So you want to think about your notes. It's not sort of the direction of your note. It's the direction of your note compared to the note before it, right? So you want the notes to kind of be leading into each other. So if I'm finishing with a down, I probably either need to go with an up next or go with something that just kind of like have a reason why I'm going to move and such, right? Because right now this map feels pretty balanced. So I personally am just kind of not feeling that connection with, like, I'm not doing those rotations. And it's just kind of throwing me off a little bit. So to be fair, pretty subjective. But for example, like things like that can potentially affect whether a map will get curated, or they'll look at that if you want to like apply to be like a verified mapper or something. Like it's so that's why I noticed it, because, for example, I got rejected as a verified mapper the first time because I did stuff like that. So that's why I noticed stuff like that, right? So to be fair, I mean, it's not unplayable and it's not an objective mistake, but just things like that will elevate your map. Yeah, like there being a good example, because I'm down and I mean, I kind of reset it here, but like it's not. And there too, I'm sure it's on the right hand too, yeah. But again, everything's very playable so far. It's just things like that will take your map to the next level. Okay, so let me go back. I think there's, I don't think I can pause it. Okay, so right there, this isn't a good pattern right here. This is going to be kind of a hand clappy pattern and such, and the hitboxes are overlapping with each other. So you don't want to have the diagonals that close together, because I either will bad cut it or I'll literally hand clap my hands together. So this pattern, they need to be spread out from each other so that the hitboxes are not overlapping. Okay. Go back. Vision blocks, lots of vision blocks in that section. That pattern does not look nice. Those sliders don't look good. And then the bottom ones are going to be, again, like that risk of hand clapping, because to be able to play that, I have to like basically put my hands together and such. Also, The music does get a little bit more intense here, but I think this is way overmapped. This feels way too intense for what's happening. Let me do it again. But like you've got things like crossovers and doubles and sliders and stacks and towers and stuff. Like towers in particular should really be for like big emphasis moments. Like even the first tower, I'm going to look at it again, but even the first two towers, I think it is just far overemphasized. If you really want, like, windows might be okay there, but I think even just double stacks, I think it's just, I think everything about this section is just way overmapped. Yeah, and vision blocks. So as a general rule of thumb with vision blocks, so when you've got a face note, which is a note in one of the center two lanes, you can't put a note behind it on like that side of the track for the length of about the half jump duration, which you'll see on things like, I don't know if you're using Chromap or whatever, but it says that on the title sequence or the title page of your song. And basically you need to avoid putting notes in the two lanes on the side of the face block behind it for that length of time, or you're going to create vision blocks. So yeah, this section's full of them. It's just in general way overlapped. Yeah, everything's just, this is way too hard, way overmapped. Yeah, I think the towers are too much representation.
Just a baby. The strongest shoulder on you.
Also, that was just a massive difficulty spike because your map has been like this the whole time in a very chill experience. And again, the music gets more intense there. Like, but actually, this kind of is to your point because you're asking if the map needed more walls and stuff. So, I mean, which I'll think about that more in these kind of quiet sections. Like I said, I think I'll look at it afterwards. You could maybe throw a couple walls in the quiet section, but like I think the thing to do is to cut way down on the notes in those busy sections, and there's where you add like a ton of like walls or V3 walls or something like that, because that'll build the intensity visually, but without having it be like a massive difficulty spike in terms of like the playability.
When you're now you're taking over us.
Okay, so for example, you're asking about walls here and stuff. I mean, I don't think you need a ton of walls here, but you could. Like, this part's pretty quiet. But I'm hearing this kind of like synth, this long drawn out synth sound in the background. That would be cool to represent as a wall, right? So for example, like you'd have to change the mapping a bit, but you could put it something in like one side and then move your patterns over to the other side. And then that would get a little bit of that kind of dancey side to side flow. Because right now in this section, like the map is very centralized, which again isn't a problem, but like on the slower parts, you could probably get a little bit more movement, and doing something like walls would be a good way to do that, right? Like you just pop in a wall to represent that little synth sound in the background. And then while it's held out, move all the patterns over to the one side, and then the next one, put a wall on the other side, move the patterns to the other side. And then that's going to get that sway, that kind of like dance feeling to it. I think I'd actually be really excited to see that.
'Cause you make it dangerous.
Yeah, so there's one. There's another one, so I can move to the other side. Yeah, so again, I think I would cut way down on the note density. I know I've kind of talked about, I think that this is overmapped and stuff, but I think the way to do this would be to have no more than stacks through any of this, and then that huh sound have like a single window instead of that like double slider, like, because it is a nice sound. I want to represent it, but I think the double slider is just too much. While having something like a window might be really cool there, right? Like a single window, for example, especially if you could get some movement, like a nice down huh window here, and then set up the next pattern and then huh for the next one. That would be really cool. Again, a lot of that stuff is subjective.
I cannot receive that. But I can just believe it.
Maybe this is just because the hit sounds of the notes are loud. I can't hear what these are mapped to. Oh wait, now I hear it. Okay. Yeah, it was a little bop, 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 bop in. Okay, maybe it was just at the beginning. Let me actually go back. Also, your outro is way too short. I'd probably add at least another half second to a second to the outro of silence. Sorry, do I have no fail on? I just want to listen and not hit the notes. I just want to see. Okay, I do have no fail on. I just want to, like, listen. Oh, geez, I'm still getting hit sounds. I just want to hear. It's so quiet. Okay, but it gets louder. That's hard. Okay. I can hear it, but it's really quiet in the beginning. Maybe make them dots to signify that it's gonna start quiet. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, so in general, like you can ask me questions if you have them. And if I think of anything else, I'll write in the description and stuff. But yeah, I think you need to, like, in summary, I think you need to cut down that one part. It's way overmapped. And yeah, I think adding some walls could be good. But how you do it is, of course, up to you, right? Like, basically, I think a good approach would be to pick something in the music to map to the walls. I mean, you can just do cosmetic walls kind of for no reason, but like, I think in the slower parts, mapping them to that cool synth sound would be good, and that will create some movement. And then the crazy chaotic part, like, cut down the notes a lot, but throw in some walls / V3 walls or something would be really cool, and it would create that sort of element of chaos without it being a difficulty spike. Of course, all hugely subjective and stuff, so, you know, do with it what you want. But I will leave it there, and I hope that helps.